a second video today. This is NBA Talk episode 1. I'm going to try this on the channel. It's something new. Usually I just stream video games, and I didn't do that very long, and I'm sure I ain't got a whole lot of subscribers, but I kind of want to do something with this channel, man. I like the concept of being a YouTuber. I like talking about basketball, playing video games, all kinds of sports. So if nothing else, this is just a way for me to communicate with other people. Alright, so let's get to it. The NBA offseason 2018 was highlighted with my Lakers signing LeBron James, and I gotta say, I am damn happy. I did not think that that was going to happen. I did not think that LeBron was going to leave the East. Or at the very least, I didn't think he was going to go to the Lakers. I mean, I could see the Spurs as a very real possibility. When they had Kawhi, of course, they just traded him. I went over that in my last video, and I'll talk a little bit more into detail with that. They lost Julius Randle, a young, promising prospect, but I don't really know how I feel about that, because for those who know me, I mean, I've spent the better half of the last couple of years talking about free agency and the Lakers and about how they shouldn't trade their young core, let their young core walk to bring in these established veterans and everything else. So Randall was always a part of that. Of course, he got better once he started playing center for the Lakers. Awesome fit. I mean, it's interesting to see how he'll fit with Anthony Davis, and I may cover that here in a little bit. But anyway, the Lakers. Now, a lot of people are automatically saying that they can contend with Golden State this year and this and that. They're not contending with Golden State this year. Does LeBron make them the playoff team in the Western Conference? I don't know. Only time will tell. I mean, if you look, LeBron has played his entire career in the Eastern Conference. He's never had anyone other than maybe the big three Celtics that was, and especially since he's went to Miami and started making all these finals, that will give him any kind of competition like the Western Conference will. It's really interesting. And in a way, I'm kind of glad LeBron left and didn't take that. I mean, right, Lakers fans saying, hey, I'm glad he left Cleveland when he went to my team, right? But no, I mean, even if it wouldn't have been Cleveland, say he would have went to a different Western Conference team, San Antonio, wherever, I'm kind of glad he left to take on the challenge that is going to be the Western Conference. The reality of it is the Cavs probably was going to make the finals almost every year with LeBron on that team. Now, I had also touched that I thought that Boston would have went to the finals this year if Hayward and Kyrie wasn't injured, and I do believe that, and I do believe that at least as of this moment and right now before the season starts, that they're obviously the clear favorite coming out of the East, even with that Kawhi trade and happening, but it's hard to go against LeBron when he's in the East. He's never had competition like he will in the West. So now we really get to see how great he truthfully is. I mean, all the hate aside, I know a lot of people hate on him. He's this generation's Jordan, Kobe, whatever you want to say. He's this generation's best player. I'll give him his props. You know, multiple-time Finals MVP, multiple-time champion. You know, you could also bring up about his win-loss record in the NBA Finals. You know, the loss to the Mavericks, that was shocking. Then, of course, he wins those 2 titles in Miami, his first 2. Against the Thunder and one against Spurs, and then he loses to the Spurs. But then you kind of get to see how good he was 2 years. Granted, he had Kyrie Irving to help him, and that was the best player that you could put around LeBron besides Prime D Wade. I will go on record saying right now that Kyrie was the best player that LeBron ever played with, and that includes Dwayne Wade, because by the time he got to Miami, Wade was already really starting to slow down with injuries and everything else. I mean, the first season he was tired, and then after that, come on, let's be honest. It never touched the level that he never got back to the level that Kyrie was at least offensively wise. Wade was always a good defender. Top 3 shooting guard of all time. It goes Jordan, Kobe, Wade. Anyway, so it's interesting. Now, what can LeBron do with this young core? Well, you got Lonzo Ball. I think he's going to be the odd man out. When you look at what LeBron does and what Lonzo does, they play kind of a similar style because they both kind of need the ball. I mean, we really ain't get to see LeBron play off the ball for the most part of his career. He's been primary ball handler, and that's what Lonzo really excels at. So they're going to have to find a way to work that in. And is he going to start over Rondo? I honestly, I mean, Rondo, you know, playoff Rondo in New Orleans this last year, Chicago the year before. I mean, he definitely shows that he still has it. But I still feel like Lonzo, for the development and the betterment of the team, should be the starting point guard with Rondo coming off the bench. You look at the shooting guard position, which like, I'm assuming that's going to be occupied by KCP. I mean, it is what it is. Maybe Josh Hart gets some more playing time, which I think that they should just experience with that. I mean, KCP probably gives them a better chance to win now, and I expect that's the way they go to, since they have LeBron. Remember, though, LeBron signed a 4-year contract with no player opt-out or anything else. He's in LA for 4 years. LeBron's going to be 37-ish, 38-ish by the time his contract's up. So, I mean, he's going to be on the last leg of his career. You look small for it, Brandon Ingram. We know what he can do. Now, the only problem with that is are they going to run LeBron at the 4 and Ingram at the 3? Or are they going to run LeBron at 3, bring Ingram off the bench? I in absolutely no way think that Brandon Ingram should be coming off the bench. I know we're talking about LeBron James here, but he can play the 5. I don't think he should be coming off the bench, but I can't really see a way that he don't come off the bench either, because that does make that bench unit a little bit better. 5 would probably be Kuzma, especially if LeBron's starting. You've seen how he played last year. Probably the biggest surprise out of the draft was Kyle Kuzma in the way he played, but we've seen players that's been 4-year players come in, have a really good rookie season, and then tap out and top out on top of that. I'm hoping that don't happen with Kyle. I mean, I think he was like 22, 23 when he was drafted, so that'd make him like 23, 24 now. He's getting ready to enter his prime really soon, so I'm not as hype as some other people. And, of course, whatever they do with the center, that Lakers song. But glad to see that they finally got their big free agent and got the best player in the world. Now moving on to go into a little bit more detail about the Kawhi Leonard and the DeMar DeRozan trade that happened earlier this year, or today, actually, not this year or today. But anyway, to go into more detail about that, how do I feel about that? Well, I said earlier, I think that Toronto walked out better from this trade. Even if they lose him at the end of the year, 1-year rental, make Eastern Conference Finals, you make NBA Finals. That's an upgrade. I said it before, that core wasn't going nowhere. Now more on to the Spurs, since I already talked about the Raptors in the previous video. The Spurs, what did they get here? Well, they probably get the best deal that they possibly could have got. They wasn't getting Markelle Fultz, though I would have loved to seen what Kawhi could have done in Philly. They wasn't getting Jaylen Brown. I would have loved to have seen that in Boston. Boston may even became the favorite to win the championship if they was able to bring in Kawhi with what they already had there with Hayward and Irvin and everyone else. I mean, that would have been an awesome team that definitely could at the very least, challenge the Warriors. But, and they even got better to a lesser extent than what they was going to get back with the Lakers with a couple draft picks and then Ingram and Kuzma. I mean, you never know with these young players. I understand Ingram had a way better second year than what he did a rookie year and the year that Kuzma has. But you're talking about Kawhi Leonard, like I said earlier, that was at one point in time until he got hurt considered a top 3, if not top 2 players. I know a lot of people thought that he was better than Kevin Durant. No one really put him up there with LeBron, but there was people that ranked him above KD. I don't really feel like that, especially since KD has really evolved and got better at defense. But he was definitely a top 3, top 4 player. So, anyway, San Antonio. They get DeMar DeRozan, which Lee will be, I think, like the 3rd best shooting guard in the Western Conference or something like that. Because you get Harden and you get Clay, and then DeRozan would probably fall in 3 in the West Conference as far as that. Oh, no. You got Jimmy Butler, too. See, I forgot about that earlier when I was ranking. But what does he bring? Well, he brings in scoring, which, like, Kawhi, before injury, had, his best season. Him and Aldridge can definitely light it up. Him and Aldridge is not a championship contending team with the Warriors in the Western Conference. Maybe if the Warriors wasn't there, they could challenge the Rockets, they could challenge the Thunder, Timberwolves, whoever, you know what I mean? They are not going to beat the Warriors with that core. If they was going to pull an upset against Golden State, it would have been with Kawhi. We all know that. We saw what happened 2 years ago before Kawhi got hurt. But I still feel like they're a playoff team. Now, they may be at 8th or at 7th seed again, but I still feel like they can get to the playoffs. And what do I expect for them? 50 win, give or take, season. Maybe get out of the first round. I don't think they make it to the Western Conference Finals. And unless injuries happen, there's no way in hell they're beating Golden State. I can tell you that much. So they're not going to the NBA Finals this year. And that's why I think, at least for now, in short term, Toronto wins. Because Toronto you can really make an argument that they could be the favorites in the East now as they got Kawhi Leonard. With everything else that's put together, I mean, that's a great defensive team. But Kawhi is better at almost everything than DeRozan was. He's a better shooter. He's a better rebounder. He's a better defender. He's a better scorer. The only thing that DeRozan was really better at than Kawhi was the playmaking and the assists. Other than that, Kawhi has him beat on every level. And something tells me that Kawhi, if he really wanted to be like that, could be like that too. But what do they get? Now, can Pop turn DeRozan into a half-decent defender? Can he turn him into a half-decent shooter? I mean, I know that Kawhi wasn't the best shooter coming out of college. Popovich helped him. I mean, he always had the defensive potential to be exactly where he was at, so maybe not. But you're looking at a 28-year-old DeRozan compared to a rookie Kawhi and the way he was built up. Pirtle, he may be the best thing for Popovich. May be the best thing for Pirtle. He may be able to leave him somewhere. If you look at what he did with Duncan and some of the other players, which I know Duncan's was a top prospect and had more potential coming out of college than what Pirtle dreamed of. But I'm just saying, if you look at what he did. But I don't expect no further than a second round for the San Antonio Spurs. Moving on to some other moves. We talked about LeBron. Dwight Howard signed with the Wizards. What? I don't know what that does. At this point in time, I don't know what that does. You go back 10 years and you put them on the squad with Bradley Beal and John Wall, and you're looking at probably a championship contending team with prime Dwight Howard. I don't know what he has left in the tank. I don't know what they can do. He can still do. I mean, I know that a lot of people think that Wall may be the best and most athletic point guard ever, and same thing for Howard at centers, but you're looking at both of them where they're not, or at least Dwight anyway, where he's not what he used to be. I think this is do or die for Washington. They got to do something this year, or they need to break up the Wall and Bill backcourt. And if I was going to go with anyone on who I would keep, you asked me this 2 years ago, I would have never said this. So now it's Bradley Beal. We all seen how Washington got better when John Wall was out and Bill was running the show. So it's now or never. And I can't see them getting past the Eastern Conference Finals. And really, I can't see them getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. The second round. Their preview, the Bucks. Well, what did they really do this year? They really didn't do a whole lot this year. They got rid of Jabari. Jabari goes to Chicago. Can he be the star on the Bulls? I mean, you look back 2 years ago, pre-injury, and what he was doing in Milwaukee, I mean, he was looking like an all-star. So if he can get back there, they can get Levine back to somewhat what he was, or something, because they both have major knee injuries that's coming off of last year. So you don't really know what they're going to get, and injuries slow down, but can Chicago be a playoff team? Well, that Eastern Conference is wide open. You look at the top three seeds, it's going to be Boston, it's going to be Philly, it's going to be Toronto. Those are going to be the three top seeds. No matter how you want to rank them. Probably Boston, number one. I say Toronto, number two, and Philly, number three. Again this year. After that, really the Eastern Conference is wide open. I mean, what can Indy do? They had a great year. Can they repeat the success? Milwaukee always seems like they get themselves in positions to where they can't really do nothing. I would not be surprised if Giannis left them, honestly, to tell you the truth, when his contract's up. And then you look at the rest of the Eastern Conference, and it's wide open. I mean, wide open. A number of those teams can make the playoffs just because it's going to suck this year out of the top three teams, and maybe the Bucks, possibly the Wizards. I'd say the five guaranteed Eastern Conference playoff teams are going to be the Celtics, the Raptors, the Sixers, the Bucks, the Wizards. After those five, it is wide open on who can make it and who can't make it. I mean, that's just the truth. You look at Detroit, they got Blake Griffin, but can he stay healthy? Is he what he once was when everyone was thinking that he was probably the best power forward, one of the best power forwards in the game? He's getting older. His athleticism was decreasing. That was a big part of his game. You put him with Drummond, and they're both kind of ball stoppers. I mean, Drummond can't shoot. Griffin can hit threes a little bit, but he's really not that good of a shooter. So there's that. I mean, I can go on about the Eastern Conference. It's just after those top five teams, I just really don't want to talk about no other team because they suck. And really, honestly, the only three that has chances in making the finals is the Celtics, Raptors, and Sixers. And truthfully, the only two I could see is the Celtics and Raptors making. I don't think Philly's there yet. It may get there, but I don't think they're there yet. Then again, though, you never know. Fultz could come on and have a Ben Simmons-esque type year like he had last year, where he took a year off, got better at everything, and just takes the league by storm. That's a possibility. On to the Western Conference. What am I expecting from the West? Well, one, kind of surprised Andrew Wiggins didn't get traded from Toronto. Or not from Toronto, but from Minnesota, I mean. I really expected him to get traded. I really couldn't tell you where. I mean, maybe something would have been worked out where a possible Kawhi Leonard trade would have happened. I mean, that would have been their best outcome. And goddamn, what a squad that would have been if they would have been able to pull that off and have Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, and Karl Anthony Towns. But it didn't happen. So I don't know what to expect from them. The team seems to be pretty much the same. I mean, it's hard. Are they a playoff team? They should be a playoff team. Look at OKC, they lost Melo. I think Melo went back to Denver, didn't he? I think I heard something. I don't know. I really haven't been keeping up with what Melo did. I know that Denver got Isaiah Thomas, but I really ain't been keeping up with what they've done. And they're still in for drafting Michael Porter Jr. They really did get it still there. What can they be? OKC. I still think tops. Number 2, maybe if shit goes right. Probably number 3 seed. You get the emergence of a young Jazz team. That's going to be a year better. That Donovan Mitchell is going to be a year better. That Rudy Gobert is going to be a year better. That if Ricky Rubio stays healthy, maybe they, I don't want to say challenge the Rockets, but maybe they take them to 6 or 7. Did they take them to 6? I think they took them to 6. So maybe they took them to 7. If he was there, I still don't think they beat him. But you got that to look out for. Of course, you got Denver on the upcoming with all their talent and young players and steals of the draft and Isaiah Thomas, and if they did get Carmelo back, that's even a better bench piece. You get Portland, what can CJ and Dame do? I'm really surprised one of them didn't get traded, to tell you the truth. And if Portland's struggling coming out of the gates or by the All-Star break, I would not be surprised to see one of those gone. Obviously, you would probably want to keep Damian Lillard just because he has more star power than what CJ does. They're almost the same exact player as far as skill-wise. But still, Damian, he just has that prime-time feel to him, if you know what I mean. Then, out of that, it's wide open. You know, we can sit here and talk about Phoenix. They re-signed Devin Booker, which I think was a great addition. I'm not ready to call him an Ayton the next Shaq and Kobe yet. I got to see Ayton play. I didn't watch him in college. I saw a little bit of Michael Porter Jr. because I'm from Missouri, so I follow the Tigers. I don't really watch college basketball that much. I know about Ingram because Duke's my favorite team. I know about UNC, but other than that, I don't know a whole lot about college basketball. I ain't watched it in years and ages since I was since I got too old for college, and all the players became like extremely younger than me. But early season predictions is hard. I mean, I said it earlier, and I expect the Warriors-Celtics finals. Now, let's dive into this, because this is really what I want to talk about. Because I believe as fans, we got robbed of it last year with all those damn injuries that happened to Boston. Can Boston, if they're healthy and things go right, challenge Golden State? Well, let's look at it. Kyrie, offensive-wise, can really line up with Steph. Kyrie can light it up. I mean, I feel like he slept on a lot. Not so much since he got traded to the Celtics. We kind of got to see him lead a young team and show what he was doing. I mean, I know he got hurt, but we get to see what he could do without LeBron and not, you know what I mean? First time he made the playoffs, James wasn't on his team. So I've been feeling like has always really been slept on. I mean, so he can square up. You take Brown and Thompson, and that's where I think a mismatch comes into place, and probably one of the biggest. Jaylen Brown, not saying that he won't be, but as of right now, is nowhere near on Klay Thompson's league, and we saw him get burned a couple times in the playoffs in the regular season defending. You know, and to me, you're looking at a top 2, top 3 shooting guard in Klay Thompson. So then you would have Hayward and KD. Obviously, Isaiah Hayward's a good defender, but he's not touching Kevin Durant. You would have Tatum and Draymond. Draymond would shut Tatum down, or he'd be able to control him anyway. Then you'd have Horford and Boogie Cousins. Let's talk about this. The Warriors got DeMarcus Cousins for $5 million. Now, I know, granted, he was hurt, coming off that Achilles injury. He's a big guy, over 7 feet tall. leg injuries affect big guys. I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'3", 6'4". I weigh over 300 pounds. I'm a fat ass. I'll say it. I ain't ashamed of it. I love being fat. Really, I do. But I know what it is. But if Boogie can even be 50% of what he was pre-injury, this thing is over before it starts. There's a real chance that they can beat that 73-win season they just said a couple years ago. If he comes back and he can be even half of what he was pre-injury. It's really not fair, to tell you the truth. Really, it is. It's a high ward, low risk situation. I mean, Golden State was going to be the favorite, so whether they signed DeMarcus Cousins or not, it doesn't matter. That's just the honest to God's truth. That they was going to be the favorites to win the championship. I can't believe the Lakers are tied with 2 because they got LeBron James, but they did get LeBron James. But we'll talk about that here in a minute when I wrap up the video, as I'm pushing 21 minutes here. It's been going on a little bit longer than what I expected. A little bit longer than what I expected. I like talking about basketball, like I said before in the opening. But anyway, Boogie Cousins, it's going to be interesting to see how he fits. So here's the thing, though, that could cost the Warriors something. Is he going to be a cancer in the locker room? I mean, we hear about all the things he's done. We saw the shit that he pulled in Sacramento when he played there. Will he do that in Golden State? I mean, Golden State's had a good history of bringing these knuckleheads in and making them champions. You look at Nick Young, you look at Jamal McGee. Can they do that with Boogie Cousins? Because if he becomes a cancer, they need to cut that cancer out because they do not need DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins needs them. They don't need DeMarcus Cousins. He's not doing anything for them. Yes, he makes them better because they finally got a center, but they're going to be the favorites anyway, like I said. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Anyway, getting ready to wrap it up, talking about the Lakers. They have the second best odds of winning the championship. I'm happy. I'm excited as a Laker fan to finally see my team back to where we belong. But for all you other Lakers fans out there in Lakers Nation, I want you not to get too excited and believe the hype that ESPN puts on LeBron James. I am in no way down in his talents. I am no way taking away his greatness. To me, as I see him, he's the top 3 player of all time. I would go Jordan, I would go Kobe, then I go LeBron. Yes, I said that right. I would go Jordan, I would go Kobe, then I go LeBron. And anybody that argues that LeBron's better than Kobe, fuck you. Seriously. If you a Laker fan and you arguing that shit, fuck you. Seriously. But that's how I would rank him. So I'm not taking away from his greatness. I'm just saying. He's getting older. So don't put all your eggs in the basket when and if we don't make the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. We're almost there. We need more pieces. We're not going to do it this year, granted, without injuries. It's going to take a lot, and I just can't see that happen. But I'm finally at least somewhat excited to watch basketball. I mean, in a way I am, in a way I'm not. I mean, I don't, one thing we know for sure, we're not going to get another LeBron versus Golden State Finals. That's not going to happen. That's guaranteed not to happen. We're going to get a LeBron versus Golden State Western Conference Finals, but we're not going to get a LeBron versus Golden State NBA Finals. But I'm finally excited to watch basketball because of what's went on and what could go on, especially with the Lakers. Just saying, to my Lakers fans out there, don't put all your eggs in the LeBron basket. You're one. And with that said, I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think of the video. If you think I'm a complete idiot, if you think I'm right, if you think I make some points, if you think I'm a complete dumbass, it doesn't matter. Keep tuned. I have more videos coming.